Hey and welcome to Neverwinter with Aragon. So here I want to go over my Module 31 build for my Rogue. Keep in mind this is something to work towards as you won't get all of this gear day one. If you're looking for a build to start out, I recommend checking out my previous builds. My Module 30 build will be competent enough to be able to do the new trial. From it, you get a ton of new gear. We can get over 120,000 item level, and with a group, you can get all of those damage stats maxed out with all of the good damage bonuses too. So I'm first going to begin with powers, as this is the most important part of your build. You're going to want a loadout that is single target for those boss fights, including the new trial, Shackles of Divinity. And then for questing and like mob fights in dungeons, you're going to want a multi-target power setup. This requires you to use different feats, and so you need to take advantage of loadouts, which you will switch here at a campfire. Simply copy both of these power setups. One for multi-target, one for single target. The most important is single target to deal that maximum damage in those boss fights so you can get through the fight quicker and beat those damage checks. You're going to want to have a specific rotation, particularly for artifact calls, and it's very strict. I recommend practicing it if you're not already familiar with Rogue. Get this power set up, and the basics is this. Get combat advantage against your boss. So you need these arcs to glow purple. Then you're going to enter stealth, use Shadow Strike, Lashing Blade, and Impact Shot. You will use that as your filler combo when you're not doing an artifact call. Keep in mind also to always maintain the debuff on the boss, which is Disheartening Strike with the damage over time, and the rest is filled with just Cloud of Steel. So again, enter stealth, Shadow Strike, Lashing Blade, and Impact Shot. That's your basic rotation. Now, when you get to an artifact call, this is when you can use these orders. It depends if you have tacticians or not. That is a mount insignia bonus, which gives you a ton of cooldown reduction. They have introduced a new one called Cavalry's Haste, but honestly, we can't really make much use of it. We only have enough time for 2 sets of encounter powers anyway. So to begin an artifact call, again, make sure you have Disheartening Strike on your target, and then the call is going to be made to do your artifact. You're going to cast your artifact, you're going to stealth, Shadow Strike, Lashing Blade, Impact Shot, your belt item, your mount power, your daily power with stealth, Shadow Strike, Lashing Blade, and Impact Shot. And that's your rotation. You need to do it even faster than I just showed there. I needed a little bit of time to be able to speak, and you can see the 13 order rotation. And that's pretty much it. Single target damage is what matters most. Practice that, get good timing, and otherwise it's just learning the mechanics of the fight and when you can use those abilities. You have to play mostly melee, particularly using Lashing Blade, but you do have a bit of flexibility with otherwise being more ranged. With regards to multi-target damage, again, you have like this setup. You're going to go to your group of enemies, you're going to enter stealth, use Blade Flurry, use Path of the Blades and Smoke Bomb, and then enter stealth and Blade Flurry again. That's pretty much your rotation. As soon as you have stealth again, you're going to go use it, go Blade Flurry, Path of the Blades, and Smoke Bomb. You can sometimes use Smoke Bomb before Path of the Blades. It doesn't really matter the order between those two. But the most important thing is to not spam your Blade Flurry twice, because if you do, then it's stuck on a cooldown and you can't make use of your stealth. In terms of your daily power, you do have some flexibility. Sometimes you can use Whirlwind of Blades, sometimes you can use Killing Storm. Just enter stealth before you use it. And the same with your multi-target mount power, of which you're going to use like the legendary Flying Carpet as an example. So now you should know how to play Rogue. I recommend looking for gameplay in certain content for some tips and tricks, and otherwise it's pretty much just practice. The rest of it is getting the right stats so your abilities can actually output good damage. Again, this build in a full party will get you maxed out on all of your main damage stats, along with over 120,000 item level and a bunch of damage bonuses like weapons and companions. You can see out of combat and out of a party, these are the stats. This is where they're going to rest at. If you check the bottom of the build, you can see how and where you're getting all of those extra bonuses to get your stats maxed out. This is power, accuracy, combat advantage, crit strike, crit severity. And you want to take advantage of these different bonuses while within a team. This new module is all about the new trial. You have 10 people there, so it should be very easy to have all of these bonuses from the team. You can even get those bonuses in just a dungeon with 5 people, like I have done here. If you are working still on your build and figuring out what gear pieces to go for, again, it's pretty much just anything you can get that's going to give you these main damage stats. Focusing first, power, then combat advantage, then crit strike and crit severity at the same time, and lastly accuracy. And it can be very important to get the companion damage bonuses like Minsk, Batiri, and the Neverwinter Knight. Nothing really competes with those. This gear that I'm running right here, you can see where it's located, what content you have to play to obtain it, and yes, most of it is from the Master Shackles of Divinity. So this gear will be something that you're going to work towards. We can have a quick look. The headpiece gives combat advantage, the armor crit strike power and accuracy, the arms accuracy and combat advantage, the weapons simply for a damage boost in single target. When you're running multi-target, you're going to want to run like the Celerum ones. Just be aware there are lesser versions of those that you can get through advanced, like the Xeraxian weapons are just as good in single target as these. The boots giving a ton of power, crit strike, crit severity. Your masterwork set, recharge speed and accuracy. This ring crit severity. This one giving combat advantage and power. Again, you can get alternatives to give you pretty much the same stats. This shirt giving damage, and this pants giving combat advantage. Jumping to enchantments, you can see the setup here. The main important ones are the offense, utility, your overloads. Instead of Rage of Flames, you can potentially run a damage specific one when running against certain enemy types. You got the lightning flash, there's nothing better than it. And you can see all the artifacts. This is the Night Flame sensor. You can see right here that it comes from the Glorious Undead Lockbox. We have the Assassin's Knife, the Broken Halo, and the Aragon. Not important that you get these exact ones. They're pretty much just there for the maximum item level. Like some are just going to be inaccessible to you, and so just run whatever gives you the most item level and some decent stats. Like this one has like the worst stats. We're literally running it for item level because we can still get our stats maxed out by using it. I even missed the Crimson artifact, which would give another 600 item level and put us to 122,000 if I had completed that battle pass previously. We can then jump to boons, and you can see the setup here. You're simply just getting all those boon points that give you the offensive stats to contribute to more damage. Getting that forte, recharge speed and action point gain. You want to get bloodlust, life lessons, blessed advantage. You can also go with blessed resilience and enhanced application that can be useful too. And then you can go like damage and damage resistance against enemy types depending on the content you're running, movement speed, lingering potions, and you'll ultimately try to go for everything here eventually. Guild Stronghold, absolutely have the revive sickness. If you die and revive, you will lose 10% damage. With this, you'll only lose 5% damage. Then we go to our companions. Be aware there is new companion gear that you can obtain through this module, but it's honestly very expensive and hard to obtain, so you'll take a while to do so, and I have not yet. For your summoned companion, I usually use one that supports the team. You can see the full list here, also in my companion document linked below. Then for the bonuses, we have Keen Eyes. This is from the new lockbox, but you don't actually need it. If you look down here in group optimization, you can see the amount of crit strike we already have. If you're in a party where you have a paladin running Aura of Wrath, you gain 4 to 6% more crit strike. If you're in a party with a healer who's running the armor, that gives you 2% crit strike. Then yes, you no longer say need the Keen Eyes to max out. So I wouldn't prioritize it, and the alternative is to run Potent Precision to maintain gaining that crit severity. Again, you got Minsk here, you got the Batiri, you got the Neverwinter Knight, the Raptor, and a Wolf for crit severity. You might not need to run those if you're running, say, the Perfect Lolth weapons instead, as that's usually quite inaccessible companion. The devs honestly need to re-release it somewhere. In multi-target, you can switch the Batiri over to the Spine Devil. Then for our Mount Insignia bonuses, I'm still going with the exact ones I used before. 2 Executioner's Covenant, 1 Menders, 1 Enchanters, and 1 Tacticians. The actual insignias themselves have changed a little bit to accommodate the different ratings from different gear. We have a bunch of aggression, skill, and brutality. You can see the exact amounts right here. These then being all the colors. and then the different combat powers you can use. It is quite flexible, but I tend to go with Big B's as it's strength based, and then opportunistic just for the combat advantage rating. As for our consumables, in order to gain our stat buffs, you can see we're simply running Flask of Potencies, Watermelon Sorbet, Ratatouille, and Wildstorm Gift Elixir. And as for your belt items here, always generally have a Stone of Health, your owlbear figurine, and either the Forger's Box or the Spider Totem. And that's about it for this build. Again, in the optimization section here, you can see where you might be missing stats. All of the gear we're using and the bonuses it gives us, and then also the team support effects and the bonuses we gain through that. This build again, while in combat, gets you all those damage stats fully maxed out. You just need to be in a team with those general buffs that everybody uses. I hope this helps. Thanks for watching. I want to see you guys around.